It had been a long day. I could feel the weight of it dragging me down as I walked through the door of our apartment. Another busy week, another endless cycle of work, responsibilities, and late nights. I had barely seen my wife Olivia for more than a few minutes each day. She too had been caught up in her own world, one filled with meetings, errands, and barely enough time to unwind. It wasn't that I didn't love her anymore. It was just that life had gotten in the way of the intimacy we once shared. I didn't think much of it as I tossed my keys onto the kitchen counter and made my way toward the bedroom, hoping to get a few hours of rest before the new day arrived. But as I entered, I found Olivia sitting on the bed, her face buried in her phone, her posture stiff. "Hey, babe," I said softly, walking over to her. "How was your day?" She didn't look up immediately, and I noticed the slight frown on her face. When she did look up, there was a weariness in her eyes that I hadn't seen before. Her lips parted as if to speak, but she hesitated. "I'm tired, Ben," she said, her voice soft but distant. "Not tonight." It wasn't the first time she had said something like that, but it hit differently tonight. There was a certain finality to it, an edge to her words that I couldn't ignore. I tried to mask the hurt, tried to shrug it off as just another one of those nights. After all, we were both exhausted, and intimacy could wait until tomorrow. But still, a small part of me felt rejected. "Okay," I muttered, sitting beside her on the bed. "Maybe another time." She nodded, but there was no warmth in her response. I felt her pull away, as if the physical distance between us mirrored the emotional gap that had been growing for months. I wanted to reach out, to tell her I missed her, but the words wouldn't come. As I lay there, trying to push the thoughts from my mind and close my eyes, I heard a soft knock on the door. I got up, confused. "Who's that?" "It's Ellie," Olivia replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Ellie, my wife's best friend. A woman I had known for years, but tonight felt different. She had always been around, popping in to visit or grab coffee. Olivia and Ellie had been inseparable since their college days. The bond they shared was undeniable, but Ellie was younger, only 25, fresh, vibrant, and full of life. The kind of energy that Olivia, at 40, had started to lose in the past few years. I opened the door, surprised to find her standing there with a warm smile on her face. She looked radiant, a stark contrast to the tension in the room. Her eyes sparkled as she stepped inside, and I couldn't help but notice how her presence filled the space, her energy contagious. "Hey, Ben," she said, her voice light. "Olivia asked me to come by. I thought I'd keep you company." I smiled, a bit unsure of what to say. Olivia had been distant, and I didn't know if I should be welcoming Ellie into this space, but she had always been kind to me, so I gestured for her to come in. "You're welcome to hang out," I said, though I wasn't sure what kind of hangout this was supposed to be. Ellie smiled brightly, walking over to the couch. She sat down with ease, as if she had done it 1,000 times before. "I know Olivia's a little off tonight," she said, her voice lowering as she glanced toward the bedroom. "But I thought we could talk." I was confused. "Talk?" She leaned back on the couch, crossing her legs in a casual yet deliberate way. "Yeah, you know, sometimes it helps to talk things out, right?" She looked at me, her gaze lingering for a second longer than usual, especially when things are, well, complicated. I could feel the atmosphere shift in the room. The tension I had felt earlier seemed to hang in the air, but this time, Ellie's presence somehow made it feel different. Her youthful energy, mixed with the unspoken familiarity between us, made the air feel charged. I sat down across from her. Sorry. Trying to relax, but feeling a strange pull in the pit of my stomach. I couldn't quite place it. "We can talk, but about what?" I asked, unsure of where this conversation was going. Ellie's eyes met mine, her smile turning a bit more knowing, as if she were letting me in on some private joke. "You know," she said softly, "about how Olivia hasn't really been herself lately. I'm not sure what's going on with her, but you've probably noticed it too." I nodded slowly, trying to keep my composure. "I have, but I don't know what to do about it." Ellie's gaze didn't leave mine as she leaned forward, her voice barely above a whisper. "Well, maybe tonight you don't have to do anything. Maybe tonight I can help you out." Instead, I froze. My heart raced. My mind screamed for me to stop, to pull away, but her words lingered in my head like a temptation I couldn't ignore. What was she saying? Was this a joke, or was she serious? Before I could gather my thoughts, Ellie says, closing the distance between us with surprising ease. Her breath was warm on my ear as she whispered, "If Olivia won't give you what you need tonight, I can." I couldn't breathe. The world felt like it had stopped spinning. My mind screamed at me to stop this, to reject the idea. But the allure of the moment, the raw honesty in her voice, overwhelmed me. I was trapped in a whirlwind of emotions, torn between guilt and desire. Suddenly, the door to the bedroom creaked open. Olivia stood there, her expression unreadable. Her eyes flicked between Ellie and me, and for a moment, there was silence. The tension was unbearable. Ellie quickly stepped back, but it was too late. Olivia had seen everything. Her gaze lingered on me for a moment longer before she walked out of the room without saying a word, leaving me alone with the weight of what had just transpired. I sat there, motionless, trying to make sense of everything that had just happened. Ellie's words echoed in my mind, but there was no turning back now.